right, here we go.
Okay. But where's that music coming from?
I don't know. I have no
For Val Seasons, love it.
Okay, we're on. This is really funny.
This is really strange.
Okay, we'll get this under control in just a few minutes.
Hold on, guys. It's the blind leading the blind here. Hold on a second.
This is really funny.
It's not. It's still counting. Okay, we're gonna put us live on Facebook. I don't know why it's asking me to log in.
You didn't select that day?
I did.
Hmm.
So you want to post the video? Angel Heart.
I'm sure it's.
Okay, this is very strange.
Okay, now I turned off Facebook. Turn off, if you have Facebook open, turn it off.
Ah, that's where the feedback's coming from, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. No, I don't have it on. Hang on. This is really strange.
All right, I'm going to turn it on here too.
Second, guys. We're trying to get our Facebook.
All right,
Ah, at last.
now we're.
And there's Vivaldi again. Ah, okay. All right. So we are streaming on Facebook. So welcome, everyone. Wonderful to be with you. It's been a little bit of shenanigans, Deb, hasn't it?
Oh,
Getting here. But we're here. Vivaldi played us in somehow. We don't know how. No one had anything open. Yet here we are. Deb?
I am so happy to be here with you. This is hilarious. This is our first time together doing, trying to see if we can do this. I'm going to try and move this to a gallery view so that people can see both of us at the same time, rather than just one of us. And we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say welcome everyone to Angel Heart Radio. I'm your host, Deb Goldberg, and it brings me great pleasure to be here with you today. And it's an honor to serve you in the highest way that I can by bringing you messages of divine love and blessings for your life. You are dearly loved, cherished, and blessed. And of course, we have the beautiful Anayah Joy Holilly with us tonight. Welcome,
Hi, everyone.
Anayah.
Hello, darling. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host as well. It's wonderful, Deb, and I get to share this platform with you. And it's been really interesting because there were so many hiccups in the beginning. And Deb, isn't it a really great, it's a great opportunity because it really ties in so well to today's topic. Like looking at the time ticking by, we've already started, what's going on, we don't know. And yet stepping out of that and saying, well, okay, this is what it is. How do we best proceed to get the outcome that's going to serve us all?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we did really, isn't it? Because we said our prayer beforehand, before we came on.
Yes.
So I think it's worked beautifully.
Yes, it has. And I think you're right. It goes right into our topic for tonight. However, before we get started on that, let's talk a little bit about all the shows that we have on Angel Heart Radio with all the podcasters.
Wow. It's growing in leaps and bounds, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my little note here because I tend to forget who's on what day. Switching it between Australian time and US time, sometimes my brain just says, you know what? I'm just not going there. So we have, apart from us, of course, we are here on the third Thursday in the USA at, is it 6 p.m. Central Daylight Savings? I'm not quite sure. What's the time, love?
The time right now?
No, the time that you do, that we do our show in USA time.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock p.m.
Is that daylight savings time?
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. And in Australia, of course, it's the third Friday of every month. And Deb and I always bring you a really wonderful topic. And we always have for us individually, Deb, we always have a profound experience together on the show, don't we?
Yeah.
It's really wonderful. And then, so we've got myself and Carol Ann Harris bringing you a Vision of Angels. So that is the first and the fourth Fridays at 7 p.m. Central USA. And that is the first and the fourth Saturday here in Australia at 10 a.m. Brisbane time. We have amazing guests on that show, Deb. Really beautiful, heart-centered people just sharing their own personal experiences and how they connect with the angels. What does it mean for them in their everyday lives? How does it work? How did it happen? How has it changed their lives? It's wonderful.
Wonderful. And because
Yep.
everyone is going to have a different experience with how they connect, and everybody has their own story, which is just beautiful.
Yeah. And I love it too, because it just shows that you don't have to do it like anybody else. You don't have to have the same experience or approach it in the same way. That's the kind of really the heart and soul of this particular show, is to really support people where they are with their own angel love guidance experience. Because, I mean, these amazing beings created for us in divine, pure, unconditional love as a support system for us here on earth. I just think that's sometimes it just staggers me, the amount of love that our Creator has for us.
Yeah.
The depth of that love, that unconditional love. So no matter where we are in our lives, no matter whether we think we're totally messing it up, whether we've taken too many wrong turns to ever make a right turn, none of that is even, that just doesn't matter, does it, Deb? It's not what it's about. It's that unconditional love where we are now.
I totally agree. I feel Michael's here with me. He's standing right here with me. He's just loving what you're saying.
You know, Michael's been coming through such a lot lately about this, and as he's really showing me, he's speaking to me a lot just this week, actually, to reach out to men as well, but really reach out to men about the love that they truly want to give to their sons in particular, because often men find it easier to relate to their daughters. And sometimes it can be a difficult thing to relate to their sons, especially if they haven't been given that connection with their own dads.
Sure.
And we can always turn to Michael. We can always turn to Michael, always. Michael will help support us in so many ways, boosting our courage and confidence and faith. If we have no faith in ourselves, call Michael. I often, if I have no faith or courage, when I say faith, I'm not talking about faith in God, because that's never ending, but faith in myself or my ability. And I'll sometimes just say, Michael, I really need to lean on you. I really need you to boost me. And I need to feel the courage that you know is there in me, because I'm not feeling it myself. What about you, Deb? How do you relate to Michael?
Yeah. It's funny because as he's he's kind of like kissing my head right now. I needed a little bit of courage before I got on, just dealing with the day-to-day life today. So,
Yes.
So what you're saying is just so beautiful. Yes, I ask Michael to help me often, and actually, it's God that reminds me to use my team that He's given me, given everybody. Is that we have a wealth of support around us, angelic support. And so, so I've been talking to Michael a lot lately, trying to allow him to guide me, as well as easy it is for me to ask God and Jesus to guide me.
Yeah. And it's I love it, Deb, because it's showing that there is no, for me personally, there is no separation. So when I'm talking about the angels, I'm talking about God. When I'm talking about God, I'm talking about all the love God has, all the support, all the wisdom. there's so much that is beyond my reckoning or understanding. Stepping out of the time frame, because, you know, like the other day, everyone, oh my goodness, hey Deb, we were having a conversation. I was so stressed. I was so caught up in time. And I just couldn't cope. And Deb's going, just take a breath, take a breath. I'm going, I'm breathing. I'm already breathing. It's just not working. And it was such an empowering conversation. And that's actually what led to the title of this show, because, you know, this is not an isolated thing. Lots of people are feeling this, you know. So time's speeding up. The earth is speeding up, right? We're feeling that. So how do we then step out of the stress and into the divinity? That's a big question for me some days. Some days I've got no clue. Other days I seem to be able to manage it really, really well.
Yeah, totally. I think that it is, it's easy for, to get caught up in that energy and the fear of time and not having enough time. And, you know, so as you're on this spiritual journey, you learn that there is really no such thing as time and space, right? That's just the earthly concept. But all of us have gotten so caught up in our work day, what we need to do with our children or grandchildren, or you know, marriage, getting our home life together, and there's just
cleaning the house,
cooking food.
You know what I mean? It's all the little things as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just that little thing, looking around going, I need to vacuum, I need to dust, I need to put that stuff away. And it can be really hectic in my mind, which then creates a hectic energy all around me. But you know what? We haven't finished talking about who is on Angel Heart Radio. Shall I keep going, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure. We can do this. And it's really nice. We have somebody named Maz Barnes that is on Facebook with us. We want to welcome
Maz. Maz is a friend of mine. Oh, Maz, bless you, darling heart, for being with us. You're a gorgeous girl.
Thank you. She's just sharing her first angel experience. So, so anyway, she is. She's on with us, and this is all new for us because we have not. We are just starting putting the shows onto Zoom, onto Facebook, and so right now we're not on Blog Talk Radio. You will be able to hear this show later on when we put it onto Blog Talk Radio, and so we can't take phone calls because normally we take phone calls too on Blog Talk Radio, but instead you can comment in Facebook and in the live, and you can watch that on Angel Heart Radio, or you can watch it on my timeline as Debbie and Goldberg or Deb Goldberg, and they're on both sites and connect with us. So
and also on Angelite 777. It will, all the links will be on Angelite 777. I just haven't done that yet. But it's really important. I want to have a place where people can easily find these videos. And Deb, I guess on Facebook as well, on the Angel Heart Radio page, there's a video section. You might be able to click in there and find different ones. So right now it's a matter of, because this is all new, how do we best have this available for you ongoing? So if you come across this in 2 years' time from now, you can still have access to what we're doing today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I just want to just mention the other hosts on Angel Heart Radio, Deb, in case we forget. So that is on Sundays in the USA, or is it here? We've got Catherine Hahn, who's just joined the team. Catherine works with angelic light and angelic healing, and she is wonderful. So Catherine will eventually be doing her show on Zoom, and I think that will probably come up pretty quickly. That will be Mondays. No, sorry, guys. I'm not sure whether it's Sunday here in Australia or in the USA. On Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of the month, we have Karen Palmer. We have Thursdays in Australia, which is Wednesdays in the USA, and that's Annette McCoy. And Annette's fantastic. She has so many beautiful guests. She has regular guests every month and surprise guests as well. Deb and I, of course, on the Friday in Australia, which is Thursday in USA. So there's a lot. And I want to say to everyone watching, if you feel the call to have a show on Angel Heart Radio, Michael's been showing me a masculine figure coming in, a male. At the moment, we're all women on Angel Heart Radio. Michael's been showing me a man doing a show on family. So if that's you, or you feel that might be you, please write to me at love@angelheartradio.com. Let's get a conversation going.
That sounds awesome.
Thanks, Deb.
And we also have Marsha Martin.
Oh, Marsha. Sorry, Marsha. Darn it. Oh, Marsha, I'm sorry, darling. Yes, thank you. We also have Marsha Martin. You're right.
And she's on Sundays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, Mondays
Okay.
at 10 a.m. Actually,
Right, thank you.
Yes, 10 a.m. Queensland time.
And Marsha does a lot of different things on Zoom as well. Marsha's, and, Marsha's show is so popular. It's so very popular because we're on Spreaker, we're on Stitcher, we're on Frigid, we're on so many platforms. And on our Spreaker channel, it's really interesting. The Archangel series, you get your two top shows for the week. It's always the Archangel series, like one of the Archangels, except for Marsha. She often tops that. And one of her shows will be one of the most popular. So she's very, very popular.
Yes. Well, she does beautiful work too.
She does. She's
Yeah.
lovely.
Okay. So let's talk about stress. And from time.
Let's talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Yeah, let's talk about stress.
Yeah, let's talk about how to stop allowing time to stress us out. How to actually you take control over time rather than it controlling you.
Yeah, because it's a stream and we can choose. And I know for some people watching, if this is a new concept to you, you may need to sit with it for a little while, but we can actually choose how that stream of time flows for us. It's just that our mind will tell us we cannot. Hey, Deb. Excuse me.
Yes, our mind tells us that we can't control it. And I know, for years, I allowed time to control me. It controlled my job. I was in a job that every hour I had to be mindful that I had another client. And so I was very regimented to time. And, even going back further into raising children, time, like I had to have everything on a schedule because that was the only way I felt like I could get everything done that I needed to do or wanted to do. But when you allow time to control you, it can create a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, a huge amount of anxiety. And of course, that anxiety then feeds the fear that there's not enough time. And so time seems to diminish, which creates more fear, which feeds more into. So we can actually end up feeling that we are so time poor that we don't even have time to eat or sleep or go to the bathroom. You know?
You can't shut your mind off because your mind's going all the time.
Yeah. And then that's right. And then those other things, like if we're not eating properly, drinking enough water, sleeping enough, then of course that has an effect on our body and our mind. So it can be a rapidly growing and expanding circle of fear. Not enough time equals a fear that there's not enough time for us, which equals that we are not loved enough in some way. When you kind of dig under that. Would you agree with that, Deb, or do you have a different take on it?
Yeah, I totally agree with it. And what the issue is with when you get so stressed about time, it creates a release of adrenaline and cortisol, a bunch of different hormones inside of us, which then start affecting our body and our mind, because it puts us into a fight flight type of feeling. And so this then it creates an adrenaline rush inside of us. So all of these chemicals are releasing, and sometimes we feel like, oh, okay, this is giving me energy, but it may be feeling like it's energy because it's adrenaline being released from anxiety. But that actually creates a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of health problems. And so it's not just affecting us emotionally, it's affecting us all physically.
Yeah.
Because you're like a hamster in a cage, and you're just running on this clock of trying to get everything done that you think you need to get done.
And on top of that, it then creates adrenal overload, which you mentioned with the adrenaline. And what was that guy? He was talking to me then about it'll come back. So yes, we create this adrenal overload, and we then buy even more, as you say, into it, because we feel like, you know, we are being energized, and we're not. How many people are addicted to adrenaline?
Oh, I was.
Huge.
I think that most of the population is, because, and not realizing it, because I didn't recognize it either, is that I was just running on adrenaline, which is all an underlying anxiety. Yeah.
So that was the other thing I was just saying to remind us all about too. So when we go into the fight flight mode, things shut down, like our immune system shuts down. So we don't do any healing whatsoever. Our immunity is very low. And the reason for that is it's a natural function of our body, but it's sort of gotten blown out of proportion. So if we need to run, for example, if we feel we are in danger, we need to get out of there and run, everything shuts down, heaps of adrenaline to power us through that. And then when the danger's over, so, you know, maybe we're in the jungle, I don't know. I mean, this is an ancient system we're talking about in our bodies. So when that's over, then everything comes back online. The thing is, when we're constantly in that state of fight flight, we're not doing any healing. Our immune system is suppressed all the time. We've got to really start to understand that our bodies can really work for us, or we can push them into situations and feelings that the natural functions of our body and our immune systems can be not only impaired, but completely shut down. Which creates more fear and feelings of anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's interesting. That's a great description of what happens, Anayah. You know, and I could think back to when Jesus first woke me up 5 years ago. All I kept hearing was, for about a year to a year and a half, it was constantly, what I was hearing was focused on my health. Not understanding that I had lived my whole life that way, because there was trauma in my young childhood. And so that trauma puts you in that same adrenaline rush and from anxiety. And so I had to learn, you know, at 56 years old, that I needed to take care of myself in a different way than I ever understood what was happening within me. And, you know, having that, having a trauma background on top of already now time is pressuring you, you know, you can have a whole life full of this adrenaline release, which is just not good for you in any way. And I was having health problems. And so, yeah, for about a year and a half, everything was, you need to cut back on your work. You need to stop doing so much. You need to learn how to rest. You need to learn how to relax. You need to learn how to let go. And it's a day-to-day process.
Yeah.
Of not,
Especially that, okay, so can I just ask you while we're right in this part of the conversation? So, okay, so say someone's watching and they are in the same type of situation you're in, and yet they feel that there is no way to cut back on work because they need the income, for example. Now, that's a very real concern for people. So, you know, what's the answer there, or what's the guide? What's the opportunity for maybe new thought around that?
right? So this is changing the mindset. And our mindset is, you know, wanting to be productive and get things done. But the more that we are in an anxious state and stressful, we're not as productive as when we're peaceful. We're much more productive when we're peaceful. And so that, you know, for me, that takes meditation. For me, that takes a constant communication with God of reminding me that I need to, you know, calm down, just be at peace. Deep breathing, because deep breathing works really quickly. That's something you could do at any time, is when you catch yourself in your mind, you know, that the hamster's running in your mind again, is reminding yourself, okay, I just need to breathe. There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing going on. I don't have to be going at this pace. I can just breathe and get myself calmed down and then start going forward from where I am in this moment.
Yeah, I love that. Start going forward from where I am in this moment, which I love, Deb, because that means it's not about finding all these major solutions.
Mm-hmm.
It's a starting point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And because that feeling like, well, I've got to manage everything and I've got to have all these answers is so stressful for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, okay, if I start from here, that's all I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to change everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to have all the answers either, do we?
No, we don't have all the answers, and we'll never have all the answers.
Even though people like me sometimes believe I will.
Yeah. I think it's really just,
you know, like the solutions. Okay, I've got to have all the solutions. Yeah. If I do this, then this is going to happen. So I need to know. And it's letting go of that, which is not actually very easy when I'm in that real mental phase in my Gemini nature, because I have a Gemini rising. It's getting out of that and coming back into my Piscean nature, into my feelings. Mm-hmm. And that's where trust resides. Trust isn't a thought. It's a feeling for me. Coming into the surety of the faith and the trust of God, the angels, the benevolent beings that are all around me all the time, who know much more about the bigger picture than I probably will ever hope to know, and well, actually not even probably in this physical life.
Right.
It's making that start, yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that Jesus taught me, which I find really helpful, and I use it all the time, because I'll be maybe running late for an appointment or something, and I'm like, oh my God. So here it is. It starts to rise, right? And actually, there's a part of me that's creating that because it's so used to running on adrenaline, okay? So it's really interesting how you can make yourself do too many things right before you have to go someplace to start that whole process of being anxious and stressed, right? So you could get the adrenaline running. You don't even realize you're doing this. It's unconscious. But Jesus told me, he said, it's not on time, it's in time.
Yes. The angels once said to me, time as time allows. It took me a long time to begin to understand what they were talking about. There isn't a deep allowing in time, and it allows us to either see it as something scarce, something that runs by too fast, something we don't have enough of, or it allows us to see that bigger universal picture of time, because, you know, it feels like to us that we don't have enough, and yet there is the exact enough time. There is the exact amount of time we need to do everything we need to do in our life. I believe. I really do believe that, even though I get caught up in the picture that there's not enough time and I simply can't get everything done. And it's letting go. Okay, what am I hanging on to that I don't even need to do today or even think about? You know, like I was telling you, Deb, because I pick up my grandkids twice a week and go to the school and kindy, and then in the afternoon. And the 2 days that I do that, I was waking up all through the night, all night long. It was driving me nuts. Every hour I was waking up, and I realized that I'd set it up for myself without realizing, because as I was going to bed the previous night, I'd think something like, I've got to get up early in the morning for the kids. What's early? Early's 2 o'clock, early's 3 o'clock, early's 1 o'clock. And when I finally understood that, I could then change my frame. And I started saying to myself, I don't have to get up until the alarm goes off in the morning.
Right.
And the alarm goes off, and that's exactly right.
It's all worry.
It's all anxiety and stress. It's that stress about time.
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting is, you know, so many things in life we measure against time, you know, when you know, even if you look at developmental factors with children, right? Everything is, by this age you should be doing this, right? And then starting school, and getting a job, getting married, having children. When, you know, all of our life is spent on a timeline that creates immense pressure for all of us. And what would happen if we just get rid of the timeline in our mind and saying, I have plenty of time to do everything that I need to do and want to do. And that it's really not looking at it as giving you permission to be somebody that doesn't do anything, right? And procrastinating. So, I have plenty of time. So, you know, because procrastination is also the same process of, oh my God, I'm gonna get to a deadline so I can create an adrenaline rush again, right? So, so it's not about procrastinating, it's about learning how to go through our day in peace and joy, knowing that whatever you get done, you're doing the best you can. Whatever you get done, you get done. And what you don't, you don't. I used to say my inbox is always going to be full on my desk. And when I die, there's going to be paperwork in the inbox. It just is what it is. So, you know, and for a while, you know, I didn't want to have any paperwork in my inbox. I had to do everything. But it is, this is a day-to-day practice. It's not anything that, like you said, there's days where I do great at it, and other days I get caught up in the energy. And then
both ways have something to teach us, don't they? We can learn from all of that.
Right.
So how do you feel when you're in this particular way? How do you feel when it's that way? And then we can start making choices about how we want to feel instead of thinking through what we think we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And you know, that rule book of should and shouldn't plays right into all of that, you know? You know, I have to keep the house a certain way, or I have to be a parent a certain way, or I have to do this, and I have to be a certain way at work. So a lot of this is all tied into ego. And we're talking on in a spiritual way, ego, not the way that most people define what ego is narcissism. Ego is performance based, and so we have a part of all of us that wants to do and perform to get validated. And I know for me, also I've type A personality. I go, 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 go. And part of my growing up was I needed to get validated because I didn't feel like I got validated younger. So I was always trying to prove myself against the clock of, what am I going to achieve now? And my whole lesson through my journey of awakening is like, no, we're gonna just calm down, and you are loved regardless of what you do. You are validated. You cannot be any more validated in the eyes of God than you are right now. You can't do anything to make God love you any more than you are. And
yeah.
Yeah, and really starting your day from that foundation.
Yeah. Makes such a difference. For me, it takes me out of the place of go, 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 and brings me really gently, actually, into feeling much more. And it does feel like I'm in control. And I don't mean control like I've got my hands on it and I can make it do what I want to do. I feel when I'm talking about this type of control, it means for me that I'm allowing. And that allowing brings about a certain control in the sense that I'm no longer fretting that there's not enough time, for example. Or if I don't rush, I'm constantly going to be late, which is what I did for years. Like you said, I'd leave everything to the last minute. Then I was always running late. And everyone go, oh, she's always late. So now I've chosen over the last whatever amount of time, out of years, not to do that anymore. And it's so much nicer. Leave early and have a little bit of leeway there. And it feels so much more relaxed, and I'm no longer stressing like, oh my God, hurry up everyone, I'm late. Because that's an awful feeling, isn't it?
It is. It's sort of like, get out of my way.
Yeah, I'm coming through, move.
So important.
And it just means that there's a slipstream there of energy, because that's really what time is. It's a slipstream of energy. And if I've set myself up to have a gentle, peaceful slipstream,
yes,
by allowing myself enough earthly time and space in my own being to experience that, then isn't it amazing? Suddenly everything the lights just go green. And you know what? If they don't, it doesn't matter, because I've allowed the space for anything to eventuate, whether I'm early, on time. And it's such a lovely feeling not to be late all the time. I really prefer that. And I enjoy that so much. And I'm really glad and grateful to myself that, because it's my free will to choose that I chose that for myself. It's made a big difference.
Right. Yes. That's beautiful. I think it's important to, help people understand that it's a process, and we just keep trying every day something that works for you. And, I will also say, if I'm finding myself feeling rushed, that energy starting to ramp up inside me is saying, I'm going to slow time down here. I'm just going to start pulling it back and slowing it down and slowing it down and slowing it down. And as I'm going through that process, I'm actually feeling it. I'm slowing down. I need to be grounded and heart-centered and know that I don't have to bring myself to that state to get to where I need to go. And I keep reminding myself, I'm not on time, I'm in time. I am always in time, because everything is working perfectly. Everything is divinely ordered. So even if you do show up late, there's a purpose for it.
Yes, I know, right? How many times, I bet you guys have had the same experience. There's a slow car in front of you or whatever. I've learned that car has been divinely placed there to slow me down for whatever reason. I will probably never know the reason. I don't need to know the reason. I just know now that this is a gift, and to take that gift and say, well, thank you for slowing me down. That's been an important learning for me. And it's given me a greater sense of my place in the divine stream. And it's helped me to let go of all that busyness in my head. Well, okay, cancel, clear, delete, that it's not all of it. I mean, honestly, but it's a lot of it.
Most of it's in our head.
That's exactly right. That's where it is. And now, I haven't let go of it all, because it still works that way for me. But that's my opportunity to choose to come into my heart. Into my heart. Come on.
Choose again.
Take a breath.
Choose again.
Just take a breath. It's amazing, like you say, a deep breath is incredible, how much that will slow all my body systems down, my mind down. It's like when we do the prayer before the show. It's an incredible feeling to be centered like that.
It is. And for anybody watching, the way that I take a deep breath is I just take a very deep cleansing breath through my nose, and I blow it out through my mouth slowly. So it would look like this. And just taking one deep breath like that starts you already coming back down the ladder into peace. And so I just keep taking those with some space in between, because you don't want to hyperventilate, right? If you have to take 10 of those breaths or 20 of them to get yourself down to, if you are on a scale from 1 to 10 and 1 is like no anxiety, you want to take as many of those breaths as you can, and it works really well. You are the only one that can control this. Part of awakening spiritually is learning that you are responsible for everything, for how you feel, managing yourself, whatever's going on in your life, how you're perceiving things. You are in control of all of that. So learning, which is, I didn't learn this till I was 56. It's like, oh, I'm responsible. All right. I need to learn how to use these tools to get myself feeling the way that I want to feel.
Yeah. And it's that definition between responsibility and blame. So when we say that we're responsible for something, it's not a blame game. It's all, you're responsible for that. It's more like, oh, okay, so self-responsibility for me is an important thing, very important thing, because there are times I really want to blame someone. It's just too painful, or it's just too upsetting, and I want to blame somebody else. I don't want it to be about me.
Right.
Yet, can't get away from the fact that it is about me. Yeah.
Everything is about us.
I'm going to have to put myself on mute for a second, Deb.
Okay.
There's someone at the door, unfortunately.
I see that.
Be right back.
Stuff happens even when you're on live on Facebook. So, one of the things that's so helpful to me is, both of us and many people actually use God or angels or prayer time to help us be peaceful. And everybody can do that if you believe that. And if you don't believe in anything else outside of yourself, and actually God is not outside of yourself, it's within yourself. So you can, but if you're agnostic or atheist, you can also think about that every one of us has a higher part of ourselves. There's a highest part of us, and you can always connect with that higher part of you and ask for help and saying, I need some help with being peaceful about whatever I'm going through. It doesn't have to be just time, but you have all the answers and love and support within yourself. You don't have to go anywhere. And support's always helpful. If you need to talk to somebody or reach out, that's always a good thing. But it is always there inside of you 24/7. And when you start opening your heart up to that and your mind, the support that flows through you is amazing to start helping you understand you in your life and what's going on in your life. And are you having the life that you desire and that you love and feel filled with joy? So I'm hoping that people take this in and recognize that I needed help to wake up and to understand what I was doing to myself with letting time drive me with stress and feeling like I had to perform and be what I thought other people wanted me to be. And so these are all things to unlearn that all of us do to one degree or another. I thought it might be helpful. I don't know how you feel about it, Anayah, is doing a little prayer or something so that people can hear what it might sound like when we ask for help to manage time or stress or whatever we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, great idea.
I think that, so that people can close their eyes for a moment and just listen and start to feel that calmness, that energy, the light and the love come through them.
So do you want to do one and I do one, or do you want to do one? How would you like it to be?
Well, I'm looking at the time. I think we'll do one, and why don't you do that? And
okay.
And then we'll go on from there since we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay, great. No, which is so cool, isn't it? And then that email you got, are you going to address that on there, or was that a private thing? I can't remember what we spoke about.
What was that?
The message you got from someone asking for assistance. Are we addressing that on the show, or is that something that you're doing off the show?
Yeah, that would be, and I'm sending light out anyway to anybody that needs help.
Okay, all right. So I'll do it. Okay, so all right, guys, thank you. So I'll have a lovely prayer now. So just invite you, unless you're driving. Oh, we're not on Blog Talk Radio. You won't be driving and watching this. Okay. I'm so used to broadcasting. Okay, everyone. So just allow yourself to feel where you are right now and to feel exactly how you are. You don't have to feel any differently. You don't have to experience anything at all. Just place your hand on your heart. Take a breath. And feel the beating of your heart. And each and every beat is an affirmation of the unconditional love that exists for you, no matter what. And if you can just focus or allow your attention to come to something that's really stressing you, bothering you, hurting you, or upsetting you, let's call on all the divine love, the unconditional source of eternal light and love that is there for us in every moment and resides within us, each one of us. And call upon God and the angels, creator, unconditional love, the divinity of the truth of who we are. We ask that you help us to feel grounded and centered in love. And that this situation be seen for what it really is. It's not the end of the world. It's not the biggest thing. It's an opportunity for us to come home to love and call upon the light, and call upon the angels. We call upon all the echoes of love in all dimensions that come through God, that come through Creator, to surround us now and wrap us gently yet firmly in the truth of our magnificence. And we ask that you help us to let go of the fear that we're not good enough, of the fear that we're somehow unloved or unlovable, and of the fear that we just can't measure up. And in its place, fill us with calm and peace and grace and dignity and willingness to just let it all go. And every time you feel stressed, just put your hand on your heart and take a breath and reconnect with the beating of your heart as an affirmation of how loved you are and how divinely inspired you are exactly as you are. And just ask for help to allow all the fear and worry, stress, anxiety, anger to just slip away into the open arms of your Creator's love. And just take another breath and allow yourself to feel where you're sitting. And whenever you're ready, just open your eyes with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the love. Thank you for reminding me of all the love I am in every moment. Thank you. And when you're ready, just welcome back. Now, there is a little process that I use that I learned from Tom T. Moore that might be of assistance to you, because that was a lengthy process. So I'm feeling really stressed about something. I request a most benevolent outcome to focus on the truth of my being and release the stress. Thank you. I request a most benevolent outcome to turn my thoughts to peace instead of stress. Thank you. It's that simple. It's very powerful. Thanks, Deb. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure that our audience thanks you too.
Thank you all. Yeah, thank you for being a part of it, because you added your love and grace and light to that. It wasn't about me, it was about us all. I was just, yeah, exactly.
So, you know, our mission is to help people on Angel Heart Radio, is to understand how supported and loved every single person is, and that as humans we go through so many different experiences and don't realize that we don't have to always experience things at a heightened level where our mind is so stressed and anxious, and our body, and so it is really and with all the different situations that we deal with through our life.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times we keep ourselves busy and running with the clock so we don't have to stop and deal with our own life. And
Yeah.
so that it actually is a coping mechanism that many of us use. And so, part of our mission here is to help people really understand that there's so much more going on than we have any idea with inside us.
Yeah.
We're pretty diverse. We have a lot of different aspects, and we feel at so many different levels, and we can have so many different feelings happening at the same exact time. I mean,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can feel complete joy and sadness at the same time. And it gets really it's mixed up and confusing to know that, like, it's okay. You're okay. You are fine. You are exactly normal and fine with whatever's going on with you. And you're in the right place because you're always in the right place to see an opportunity of where am I and how am I feeling and what is going on with me inside, and stopping and being okay with asking those questions and not being afraid to feel your pain.
And that's a big one, because some pain is so deep and so vast. It's terrifying to feel that pain. But if I could just share a little thing that I learned, Deb, and it was so profound. It took me, my God, so many years. But all of that process was important. What I realized was, it was like, if you imagine there's a long, long, long corridor and there are doors on either side, and all the doors are closed, and all the doors represent a pain, a painful experience, something I'm terrified of. And it's like, working, get to the door. It's like, oh, it's so intense in that moment. And then pulling back. What I figured out was that intensity was the threshold of change. And instead of pulling back from the intensity, to go through it. And when I opened the door, it was the pain of getting there and pulling back and getting there and pulling back and getting there and pulling back. It wasn't the going through it at all. And that's what I learned.
Right. However, when I've opened the door and walked back into painful periods in my life.
No, it's not walking into the pain. The door was the freedom through the pain. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a freedom for the pain. But to heal old pain, you have to go back and refeel it.
Yeah, you do. It just seems crazy, but you do. And that's the way. And that was that constant backwards and forwards. I can't stand feeling this. I've got to do something. So I'll eat, or I'll go out, or I'll talk to friends, or whatever it might be.
Right.
Yeah. And that just creates more to experience, doesn't it?
Well, you just keep pushing it down, pushing it down, and it comes up in different ways. It comes out in ways that we don't want it to come out. And so, and then it creates a lot of illness. So, time is one of those big pressures, and it's easy to not stay present inside of being present with yourself every minute of the day, because we have a mind that wants to take us out of it. And so it will go to the past, it'll go in the future, it'll go anywhere else but right here in this moment.
Yeah.
And our job is learning how to stay present, because our feelings are a barometer. It's really our body's a tool, and our feelings for us to understand what needs to be shifted inside of us. And I understand that I was not just run away from my feelings. I was numb for many years, so I didn't feel my feelings at all. They were just suppressed. They were gone. But it is really important in managing yourself to allow yourself to be present and to actually deal with whatever is going on with you. And this is a day-to-day practice. Every day is different. Every day, some days I manage it great, and other days are not. And because there's all this energy and stuff going on inside of us that we have no idea about. It's like a Pandora's box inside. And right.
Yeah, it really is.
It is.
But full, and it's only later I realized it, but full of golden opportunities, because everything I've experienced, every single thing I've done, everything, all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all for my benefit. I truly believe my soul has chosen to experience these things as an opportunity for further growth and development. And you know what? If you're having a very, very, very rough time and lots seems to happen in your life, you may have elected, your soul may have elected to do more than one lifetimes at the same time. So it can be like a master life. So it's not that you've done something so terrible in the past that you're being punished, because I don't believe in punishment at all, Deb, and I know you don't either.
Right. And
punishment is a given term.
I think that what you said is just so important for people to know, that when you really start waking up and paying attention to yourself in these ways, and you do it with the having an intimate relationship with God or whoever it is that you believe is the creator source of you, of this world, when you are doing this together, there is such love given to you, unconditional love, for you to process and work through all of this pain and really learn self-love and not to judge yourself, and that you are so pure and innocent. It is our mind that tells us we're guilty and shameful, and then we project that on other people. So what this is so important, because when you understand that you are a gift and that you're a blessing and a miracle, and you are pure innocence. And when God tells you this, and God tells everybody this, because nobody's any different, everybody is the same. There is equality. There is divine equality. So when you learn that you have to look at all of these places of shame and guilt, and just think about how much time itself, that one construct, plays a role in producing so much guilt and shame inside of us that needs to be healed, that we don't believe this, that we don't have to fall into this belief system that something is wrong with us at all. You are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. The only thing that's wrong with us is what we believe about ourselves. And unfortunately, we believe crazy things about ourselves, that we're shameful, that we're guilty, that we're unlovable, unworthy. Yeah. And so I think it's really important to be grounded in some kind of faith, whether that's a religion or whatever it is that you believe.
What works for you, what feels good to you, loving, kind to you. It doesn't have to be the same as anybody else's, does it, Deb?
No, we're all having an individual journey here, even though that we're one.
Yes.
And so we're going to have our own story. We're going to relate in our own ways to divine being, to each other. And it is really important not to look at what everybody else is doing, which we all like to do. The ego does that, is always in comparison. And that's what creates a lot of this shame and guilt. But I'm telling you, from Jesus, from God, that there is absolutely nothing wrong with anybody. It's now breaking down all of these belief systems so that we can start taking away all the armor and all the faulty ideas about ourselves and everyone else, and understand that there's only pure love inside.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's sometimes very difficult to actually comprehend that. Yet the more I take this journey having come from so much shame and so much guilt. The more I take this journey, the more I can truly and honestly see that the only shame and guilt that ever existed was the shame and guilt I allowed myself, I chose to believe in about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, but it does in that sense, because it matters to us. Sometimes they're people who are very important to us, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming back to that understanding, isn't it, that it's a construct.
Mm-hmm.
It might be something said about us, but it is not us.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we going to put our attention? And I've struggled with this over the last 2 years, as you know, Deb.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of the most difficult periods of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I have really had to go very deeply into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see more and more that the pain that it caused me, the pain that the terrible pain that it caused me was my own unwillingness to let it go, because I wanted it to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I could start accepting this is the way it is. What's my choice around it?
Mm-hmm.
How much am I going to engage in this? Am I going to engage at all? No, I'm not. And that's really hard to do because I want to have my say. But don't get me wrong, it's really hard for me to do. But it's the most fabulous thing. It's the most freeing choice for me. So it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's having the faith. And you know what, and sometimes it's not even having the faith in yourself. You might not have any faith in yourself, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look to whatever it is for you, unconditional love, God, the universe, creator, doesn't matter what the term is. Just look to that source of love. And if you don't have a source of love, ask for it to be proven to you in a way that means something to you in your physical world. All right? Prove to me. Prove you're here. This is what I did with the angels when I first started working with them. Someone said that you exist. Well, I want to know for myself. I want a sign that means something to me in my physical world. Oh my gosh, the signs started coming so thick and fast. And that to me is a very important thing, because when we can't believe, we do need proof. And proof does exist. Proof of our divinity does exist. We just need to ask for it. In our world. Yeah.
Beautiful share, Anayah.
So you go, guys. You're amazing.
Yeah.
And when you think you're not, you are anyway. It's unchangeable. It's unchangeable.
Right.
But the feelings are the thoughts and the feelings. Yeah. So I just want to know that we're supporting you all the time. That's why Angel Heart Radio even exists. It's why we do this. To be a support system, not to fix you or to change you, to support you where you are in your own journey as you move through whatever your days and nights are for you. You're learning something really important and valuable all the time. Same as me, same as Deb.
It never stops.
Every darn moment. That's true. It's true.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, I think that was a great way to start to close the show. You said some beautiful things, and that people can really take in and think about. We're planting seeds here of knowing that you're so much more than what you imagine, and that there's so much love surrounding you. So, Anayah, do you want to tell people how they can reach you?
Sure. Thank you. AngelLight777.com is the go-to for everything for me, everything for Angel Heart Radio. And it's so easy to navigate as well, which I really like. So please do join me there and let us know. Is there a topic you'd really like to see Deb and I discussing? please let us know. We're really interested in what matters to you and the ways that we may be able to assist you in your own everyday life. Thanks, Deb.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And if you're interested in knowing any more about me or working with me, you can find me at debbiengoldberg.com. And you can find my books, A Divinely Ordered Life, on Amazon.
Beautiful books, everyone. Honestly, go and pay attention to these books. There's something really, I want to use the word magical, like about your books. They have so much wisdom and knowledge, but it's very, very accessible, Deb. Sometimes for me, books aren't necessarily, the wisdom isn't always accessible. I have to really struggle to read it, even though they're amazing books. But I find your books to be very accessible and very easy. And I often use them like a bit of an oracle. I'll just open it up. And in fact, right here, see everyone? Okay, God, what do you want me to know in this moment? Open it up. And it says here, we never enter. Oh, I love this. We never enter into our earthly experience without a spiritual parachute. What we've been talking about today. God always has a soft landing pad in the palm of his hands for us, but we don't always know or remember this. You know, just a little while ago when you were talking, I wanted to share, God and I have this thing together, and I see myself as a tiny little child, and he's got these beautiful hands, and I crawl into the palm of his hands. It's so beautiful. It's so loving and kind. Oh, it's wonderful. So check it out, everyone. This is the Scripture of Heaven. Which book is this one? Is this the volume 3? And there are 2 volumes beforehand. And it's a gentle, cradling, nurturing, loving place. So there you go. And that kind of encapsulates what we've been talking about today. So you can just do that with the book. You don't even have to read it cover to cover. You can just open it. Open it anywhere. I keep close by. And see, this is another reason why camera is so great, isn't it? I love the fact that I can just grab your book or whatever it is, hold it up and show people. Go to Amazon, everyone, right now. Go, 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 go. That's great. And we need to let people know about the fantastic things we have on offer.
Yeah. And those are all dictated by Jesus. And a lot of my journaling entries with him, our conversations are in the books, and I think they're fun to read.
They are, and you've put a lot of work personally into these. They're very well put together, everyone. So there you go. Cheers, Deb. Well done.
Thank you. Well, I want to say, when in doubt, never underestimate the power of prayer. You are being listened to and heard throughout the universe, and it always responds with infinite and eternal love. Remember to go inside and listen through your heart for the whispers of heaven. I love you, and God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Deb. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.